this works. Yes, we are live. Oh, I haven't done my makeup. Everything else is on me. So, anyway, just forgive me the way. I'm still in holiday mode, eh? Give me a break.
Okay.
I'm still in holiday mode. I'm not yet acquainted with the norm of doing podcasts on a Sunday when you are everything sometimes. So how about this? It's June 2nd, 2024. Welcome to Bantu TV. It's a Sunday podcast where we talk everything breaking out of the Madeline show. And yeah, we're back after how many weeks? Actually, you
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Here we go. So we are back after 2 weeks, and we hope to have a very productive, engaging, entertaining episode today. There's a lot to talk about, and the one speaking right now is no other than moi. My name is Kalinda Shichinda. I'm here in Indianapolis, the Midwest of the U.S. And yeah, I'm part and parcel of the furniture every Sundays here. So how about actually if you take over and let me bring more people on here. Actually, if you do your
Yes.
thing.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. We welcome you to our podcast. Of course, the idea is for Bantu we are one. That's why we call it Bantu TV. And we want to make sure that we represent each and every individual from all corners of the world, and to discuss, pertinent issues that are affecting Mother Zambia, and what solutions can we provide here in the diaspora, and so on and so forth. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Wakalowe, for joining us. Oh, I'm Sonda's just dropped off again. And we can begin the show. Of course, we got those various topics that we need to tackle. And I think we know what the elephant in the room is the issue of a tribe that's been, on everybody's lips. And, of course, we're also looking at, Valungu. I mean, what is he doing? Is he the cause of all this ever since he came on the scene? So we got so many topics. So yes, Vakalinda, if you want to, guide us in what topic we can start with first, that would be
Oh,
great.
absolutely. I'll be
Oh,
more than
I'm
happy to.
broadcasting from Canada, Ontario. So
It's okay, land of it. And maybe before we go any further, let me acknowledge our people that have joined us in here. So let's start off with who was this? Commander, welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and tell us where you're joining us from this afternoon.
Oh, hi. This is Kaminda. I'm joining you from Zambia. It's my
In the
first time joining you. Thank you.
In the building, please be our favorite furniture. Moving on forward, and all right, I guess we lost some two people, but the one and only Lady Sarah. Welcome to the podcast, my sister.
Thank you, sister. How are you?
Oh, fantastic! I can't complain. I'm here, and I feel like I just went through a new birth. But
That's a good one, yeah. And indeed, you look like you were just born yesterday.
yeah, so I guess let's just get on with the show, shall we?
Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't give you the flowers to tell us where you're joining us from today. I know where you are, but
Yeah, I'm joining you from Washington State, Seattle.
all right, in the building. All right, so let's move on. And there is nothing better for me to introduce the next topic.
Well, before you do that, you haven't let Bakalu introduce himself and
I'm
the
so
other guest.
sorry. This is our good pastor. Uh, Pastor Kalua, please come in and do the needful, please.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be on this program today. It's been a long time seeing you, sister.
Oh, thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much for the honors. So, and where was I? Oh, so yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the topics, and that's what we do every Sunday afternoon here. At least we try. So, the
Well,
elephant is
let's not overlook the other guest,
look. We
Kalinda.
have Mr. Commander is in Zambia. The other two dropped off. Who did I
Oh,
mention?
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. He already introduced himself. So yeah, let's
Okay.
just begin with the elephant in the room, and anybody can jump in. And why not JJ Banda? I mean,
Mm,
I don't even have to say anything unless if you've been living under a rock, you know what's been going on there. So
mm.
let me start with the pastor. Your thoughts on what transpired last week, Pastor, on JJ Banda, and then we're gonna go to Mr. Commander before we go to Let's Sarah. In that order, please, and then Rachel.
Yeah, the story of JJ Banda is very interesting. It looks like it is a story that is not coming to an end. It's still in the making. In that, uh, when it happened, we we heard different stories, conflicting stories, and then after he surfaced again, there's so many different stories accusing people, and some people speaking on his behalf, and he is refuting what they are saying, and we still hear that there will be they are doing some investigations to really come to terms with what really transpired. So it is kind of difficult to really be able to comment on my part because it is a developing story. But what I can say is it is surprising what is happening. Whatever the case may be, it is surprising. I'm sure we are going to know the whole truth, and it won't hide.
Right, right. Yeah. What is salvation there? That's from the man of God. Um, Lady Sarah, I see. As we are politicians, so we are not going to be kind. So, Lady Sarah, you want to come in?
Yeah, it's so interesting, you know. So I was saying that in Zambia, you don't need a DSTV. Zambia itself is DSTV. It's every day, it's episode one, episode two, season three. You know, so we have season four, JJ Banda. You know, just as much as, when someone is abducted, some of us we've gone through where our relatives have been killed by, have died at the hand of people. So whoever did that if it's true that he was abducted, whoever did that to JJ Banda, I think that one should be put to jail too. But the surprising thing is that the way the politicians are coming out, the way the PF knew about the whole thing, and they're the ones who located him somehow, it's very surprising. And also the lawyer, Mr. Scotter, I think he's a lawyer of political, mileage. Because as a lawyer, you cannot start, accusing the other group that they are the ones who are doing ABCD. We need to wait for the police to give us, everything that went on. And also I've heard one video that is going on where somebody, a Mwinde thing has been mentioned. So if JJ has mentioned those people, the police should get those people and question them. They should not delay in, asking those people to say, are you involved in this matter of JJ? But one thing again, JJ should remember that he urinated in someone's mouth. So the trauma that person went through, it's even more than what JJ has gone through. So he should face the law. So the father standing there, oh, we are human beings. What about the people that JJ injured? Are they not human beings? He's just paying for his sins. Karma comes round. Thank you.
Right. Oh, brilliant. Lady Sarah, appreciate your input on this over there. But let me bring in some new entrants. Mr. Philip Msonda, he keeps going in and out. So maybe Bamsonda, please introduce yourself and where you're joining us from. And right now we're discussing JJ Banda. Your comment on that.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Muri bwanji uko muri bwanji.
No.
Malaiti kuno kuvuta, so kuchita kuti malaiti yakaenda na network yavutiratu. Firesa mkushupe fintu, I think natotera pa kumpokerera pali program kwai. Elio na lako nkanyapokulanda ngufu first opo ya chambira kani ni nchero wako hapa more than 11 minutes. So
you're just in time. JJ Banda. The background, you have to finish the background.
Muli kuisa first bebe ni abantoko mule chitana inkane broadcast from.
Na totela inekwena ndi mulwansha mwane mulwansha mkwai munchende muilamba kukopa beoti mkwai idoli ashi mwalanderi aba JJ Banda inichofya abantu tabomfwa. People they don't listen inga mulela ndakai balasenda tawe tabesho fofire chitika tule shiba makateo zaenge achitika. Ili ashida ba JJ Banda yali pre-programmed bali lipangire kale kuli monofoli kesaba andi ichabipire chakwe bati nabene tabali ishibe bwino foli kateka because bale yangala nobuteko bwishibe okutira abantu kuti babange ensoka kuti baluluka kuti bapiribuka bamisuma. Ili ashira ba JJ Banda namwishiba sometimes limona ngulishiru kuti walipusho kutira weshiru bushe pali red na black kale ile moneka niisa kuti alandati but red yenai kuti amonekera okutani because umuntu ntulutete aluwe kuma 01 umuntu aluwe kuma 01 02 bambo kumufwayo kutira umuntu kwaluwa omuntu takwabako because nangufeni panga ndanga waluba 24 hours balalolela buchati bashukuru bantu tabamoneke nomba ira yachitike para bali ipekenye ero bali ingishe monendalama muna mwali ka 1.2 million mulya bakoba mwali pakutira nga kwaisa bakamoka kutira kengiri abantu bali already aware neryo lyashi. So after yachitika from 01 ili yachitikire po yachitika 0102 ati umuntu naluba 0003 bamumbipiri baishi beriashi ababana nikane ba given rubinda baishi beriashi bamwamba baishi beriashi no question yakwe bati ulio wasangire para pantu pakuti atume kula kuntu kutira beshi befi ero moto kali vya pepi na pa police. So bale ya game iya baiche kwali bama game ya mako bati ule mona no kumona ati uyu mwaichale banafi sama but arefuru kutamuchisako mu afiseme game bale yali ishibika mukwishibikwa
hide and seek. Bamsonda tekumikata kuishiwi. And indeed, why ba PF bale ishiwa feriashi? Why ebo bale tumike amafoni? Meaning bale ishiwe efa bale chita. Ba PF.
So ilo lya shija kitike twaishiba inena alilandireko bati bambo kuteya game oyo bapekanya kale mukupekanya kukupiribula ifishing kafibe fyabufi nao nga mwaisalo lekesha question yako bati pale bayiminire pale apepina pa polisi ushauri niishi tairire pa polisi atina sangefi akubira bamumbipiri question yabe ishibeshani bamumbipiri kabira ishibeshani ati motoka yako JJ Banda because vintu kubo wachita evaluate waishiba so kamba pamuna mono kutira ilira chitapabeko lyala tutwala apa mumwenene nombo mwenso wabe katanomba bala fufunkana umuntu alubire kuma 03 amoneka kuma 03 ni game ya msango chani kwa kuishira bati game baleteyi nabe neta beshibe nga balengisha ku kigo cyabo nga balengisha ku kigo cyaba opponent game iri apa.
Oh my Lord, Sunday West. Actually, come in.
Yeah. Well, this is it's an exciting time for Zambia because Kwatibale Disera said you don't need DSTV. Kutamba Facebook you're entertained, you know, because this is more like entertainment now, you know, because JJ Banda, JJ Banda, it's a little bit on a suspicious side. Just like it, Bamsonda also said, it's a little bit suspicious. Why won't Konsoko Bale Musanga? It's either PF or a PF related, even Pafamu Bamusangire. It was owned by a PF supporter. You see? So all these are really suspicious stories, you know. But JJ Banda is one of those criminals. In fact,
notorious MPs.
Yes, and JJ Banda alikuwa kama kesi zaingi sana. First, he stormed the police station. He beat up the police guys, the police people, the personnel that were there on a Sunday. The video is in on social domain. Everybody can go and watch it. You can see even the former IG. He was there warning him to come and report and report himself to the police station. But because the PF was in power at that time, he was shielded and protected. You see? That's how dangerous.
He urinated in someone's mouth.
That's the second point. So second point, he urinated in the mouth of a journalist. He abducted the journalist because the journalist was following up a story. Eastern Province. Konkale investigative journalism. Kwisa Sangati, they were registering people from Malawi.
Yes,
so he was following up that story. Alesta follow up story about discover what we katirapo. They followed him, they bundled him up, bamuvika motoka, bamshita abduct. You know, what's this? JJ Banda and his team. You remember those days? If those were brutal guys. Bamusenda, bamshita bando, muma. JJ Banda nokisa musungira na mkano. The guy is still traumatized up today. Has he been given medical attention? Has he been given a psychologist or a therapist? No. You know, to just check if he's okay. But JJ Banda is enjoying those privileges now through the state. What is so special about JJ Banda?
Nothing.
What is special about JJ Banda? Because JJ Banda is just a human being like you and me. But look at the things that he has done and the things that he's done to other people. The guy that was traumatized by that beating and abduction and being urinated in the mouth, has he been given the... well, we can say that maybe because he's a member of parliament, he's state property, but human beings also have their rights. And all these cases should actually come up, and we should be able to make him pay. Instead of him,
the government, we are all state property. Nothing is special about him. We are all
Ale fenta
citizens.
fente
We belong to
bamutwala ku polisi
Zambia.
atina fenta.
No.
Wow, gentlemen, what interesting, points that you guys bring up here. I think the question that most people have, including myself, what is what is the end game for UKWA and its members? It will be my question, because what was the whole point in going through, like Bamsonda said? The PF knew about JJ's abduction at 3 in the morning, and then the PF knew about his being found at 3 in the morning. And I mean, couldn't they write a better, storyline for whatever, propaganda they are trying to, sell to the public? What is their end game? I mean, what's the whole point in getting all of us in some kind of anxiety, stress? With all that being said, we saw the statement that came from their leaders and all their surrogates in trying to rile up the ordinary citizen on tribalism. What is the end game? Why would you want to cause harm to a country that you want to come back and lead?
Balungu is a dangerous man.
Background.
Apo mayo mwali ishibali lyali ashturando kubatiri America chasu. These guys, they're just playing monkey tricks. I can just say, because JJ Banda is not that simple person who can be attacked anyhow. I'm telling you. Ma thugs baria, barama and ma junks baria cannot be attacked easily if you Africa fibam attack yo chaba ba yo ko bana abductions. Barabantu benda nemfuti. Teti mulando kwati JJ Banda muntu wakobati yo takwate mfuti yo baba shan teti abefe attacked. Now if intunga ba plana kulabo okumonoko bati yo ba plana fiala ndomo fiendere no makairi abantu nga bale plana ifishikwete tori ifishikwete mano at the end of the day firesa mkuba futukira kimono kuteye kiriba kyakwikata nga mwaisalo lekesha nga mwadokesha pama media yonse aba PF pali message moine mwapali yonse fa media yaba PF bonse pali fe information imoine fi then mwalasa sanga pali media aba liri mtambo na wena lokusanda JJ Banda aline fironda naba puma fironde nombe fironda kakubati nakanyaka afyarwa lero kuti kayo hadushe bari bapuma pwaba bari vyumvire firondo atwakandirwe ero twali mu PF baleuma mdala abantu baloma ngakuma so kusamuna kwati ni mango yabo langa chakutira bakupiribula pamusana baloma abantu ukwamba okuchito kufuaye fironda fya musango chani baisho okuchenche ntatakuri so fyalela nga fyoko bati yali ni amacha game batere mubwipi ifyonze turelanda fire yafe kuliko kukumono kutira bushe againde ichirema kuti bamuchita challenge bakachire mokubomfya ama policies of which the party winga bachita challenge, because if you bala ile fyonze naba fibomba nomba uyu muntu twala chita shani kanshi kwamba ama interruptions yako bati bala mbokula bomba nomba ngana alikuwa tafia mano teti nsumi nokumbomfya kubantu eparandandiro kuti umuntu kukubomfya ukuyawa chimona iranga mulebuta ero waisa kubomfya ti wala abechibwa epara bale bomfya bena JJ Banda instead ya kuti baye kwati kanshi wala ati yako pa game yako babali ero wayako bati wala abechibwa area, because teti nde ya game that is amateur game, I'm telling you. So limwefisa mutitikeri ngirine fyako bati umuntu ngale ale tontonkanya ale tontonga mwala mwana fya abantu katuishifie, otherwise amano ena ya nono then mubwipi futi kuri ashiraba JJ Banda kulawo kurisha ti limbinga isiye wabwela limbimira ndushira tubale sundira ba journalist shala abwela na mali ashiyama mada yala bala yafuta kanshi nomba bale babonke hapa liponse fie ero nomba bale ibonfya vice versa uyo abonfya munanko noina ena bomfya omunanko because nsangiroko bati balungu baleba bomfya nabo baleba bomfya abashikwete mano apa palifye game uyabo oyu uyabo omfya oyu ale muno bati uyala save oyu uyala save oyu but at the end of the day tapali oko lireye li timu ili lilifye eri akwangaloko ukwekubuta straight nomba chabulanda pantu ilo babekete mwili ashiri abduction bali bachita abduct nabakanya nokulanda kwa mali ashiyambi bebera uyitwala mukonenkesha pali ashiri uli asundire wakusundira mukanwa chalo chali banembi.
Well, let's come back to the pastor. A pastor you've heard. Do you have any comments to add on the discussion so far, Pastor Godwin?
No comment yet.
Oh, great. Oh, Lady Sarah.
Yes, my sister.
Yes.
Vamsondala balanda fiance ni kama ikalange ati mwanachi wa twamulia efe bale chita bauka ni baukwa ouka
vaukwa
awe ni uka bali uka yalifwa ni uka kama ndati mwauka.
So what I'm trying to say is that unless abafierwe mailo tabeshi befile chitika but fwe bafierwa kale kama ikalange na mwikala bale mishimikira tikamulia chiwaba muchitashani Musonda's really explained everything. You know, they are playing a losing game. JJ should face his demons of urinating in someone's mouth. Who does that? Under human rights, I'm a human rights activist. You can never do that to a fellow human being. So he's just paying his demons.
Yeah. And in fact, I think JJ Banda is being treated with kid gloves. He's being treated with kids' gloves. You know, he just needs to face his demons, face his allegations and charges, and answer them in the courts of law. I mean, why would you do to an extent, even if you're a political leader, and you see somebody, especially a journalist should not be a person that, one, the police cannot attack a journalist because he's just doing his job, is reporting. Even in war, journalists, they can never kill a journalist because the journalist will be there in the middle. If there's a war in Iraq, he's there, he's filming and all that stuff. They won't shoot him because those are the laws and the rules. One.
Yeah.
But you know, the journalist, leave him alone, let him do his job.
Right.
Okay? But now there's a twist to the story. Some people have received. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
I just received some information. Some people are saying JJ Banda because if you kutemwa abana gashi aliya kuli ba mukabene. Leo mukabene asa musende wa mumine, you know? That's the story, another twist to this story. So if there was any abduction that was done by Mukabene, the husband too, the lady he was going out with, you know, he wanted it, you know, it's a little bit complicated, but there are two stories.
Yeah.
Alenda na Mukabene, or they staged the whole thing, or they were trying to, I don't know, they were trying to figure out the whole thing, because when well reputable medical officers examine no internal injuries, no external injuries. Okay? Not as what was reported in the media, because in the media but my picture but send a my pictures yambi but my BF now if you want. I think I mean they're playing draft if you trade their chess.
Right. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, for me, here's how I connect the dots. I mean, I don't want to. I do not want to believe that it's anything to do with you know, Kanye Yazigororo. I'd like to, here's how I connect the dot. Was it last month or a month? No, I mean, last year. In fact, we had this discussion right here on the podcast. You remember that time, Given Ruminda came out and said, look, we're going to use any means necessary to remove HH from the presidents, and if it means using funerals and whatever. So I'm thinking that's why it started. And then a few months later, we saw the birth of Ukwa, however you want to call it. And then, of course, Lungu came back into politics. And then, if you remember, he held that press conference where he said, look, enough is enough. I am going to do whatever I need to do, to get these people out of power. You remember those discussions we had. And then moving on forward, we had recently at that church was that Kabwe? If I'm not mistaken, I was in Zambia. I think I was in Zambia then. Yeah. So he went to that church and he said whatever he said. And then a few weeks later, we have the disappearance of JJ Banda, who has been in Lungu's, entourage. I mean, at least his pictures, speaks volumes. And then this disappearance comes about just a few weeks after he said whatever he said about using whatever means necessary to dislodge the UPND from government. So all this, to me, I think these are dots that are, I'm tying together. And then, of course, we saw. Now, this leads me to the next topic: the arrest that we saw as a direct constituent or result of JJ Banda's disappearance. We had Munia Zulu went on a warpath, talking tribal, remarks there at that press conference. You saw that woman in Mfue, the MP, and then the Reverend. Reverend, you really need to cancel your fellow reverends, men of God. That fully at over 70 years old, also gunning into the tribal talk, and of course that despicable woman, Edith Nawakwi. And all that culminated in all these arrests that we saw this week. Gentlemen, seriously, let's talk tribal talk now. Let's start with Lady Sarah. How do you look at all these leaders that are rushing for tribal whenever anything happens within the UPND? I mean, sorry, the PF or the alliance. Great.
Because we've lived in Zambia. Some of us were born immediately after, a few years after independence. We found Bakaunda still looking good. My father originates from Angola, Azulu Valley. My mother, Lunda, is Zambian. I married Kaonde. My children, they are going to marry other tribes. And you stand there and start talking of, if we're to Bemba, who told you that when you are Bemba, then you are the one who should rule the country? So this tribal thing, I think it should stop. The genesis of this is Lungu. The genesis of everything that is being said. Lungu is an evil man. Lungu is a serpent. Lungu is a snake. So what do you expect from the snake? Even the Bible says when you see a snake, please crush the head. Okay? Because alakusuma. So if we let Lungu going around, I don't know what he's up to. He doesn't care for Zambians, because if he loved Zambians, Mr. Lungu cannot be doing what he's doing, and also his minions talking about tribal, It's high time these people stopped doing this. Thank you.
Right. Before we proceed, we are honored to have the presence of this man who has been missing in action. The Deep Think, please join us and just introduce yourself to the viewers.
Valentine, joining in from St. Louis, Missouri, in the Midwest.
Great. We will come back to you. We are talking tribal politics right now. Background.
Okay, tulande kupali ashiria tribal politics. Ngakwali wako muntu mpali muno mchalonji. Ngakwali wako mwana wako atomuchinshi kwa tine nali kwa atomuchinshi. Ero muntu nshindi kafi. Untu apatrule mitundu. Umuntu upatrule mitundu. Nshimu monango muntu wa mano because ngakwali bechintu chimo chanzambirishe mu 1991 ku Rwanda. Imitundu shibiri shali ruire bali payene bali fuiri abantu pamulandu wafire ekitika mu Zambia ku bantu bamo abanono fye muri kino kyalo nalisambire kubati nga wasanga omuntu mona akukirako ekintu kimu musumine eryo muchetekere bombeni nankwe now problem twaisa akwata pamona ababene bambuya wesu twakwata ifofwe babemba problem twakwata omuntu oboli walipitirira mukalamba wandi walipitirira omuntu oboli. So at the end of the day, au mwandi nga twaisa ikatana na abene abambuya besu banyerenda ba Mwanza kaibena bali shishita so kuba bomfya fyopo balingiro kuba bomfya abakutipatana ngo babe fya mboku cyana papene mwala munara mboku yipikula amboku tukana ensari ala mboku tukana ili seko bebera atkashina tutola ne nababene ili ngirine utuntu tumotwisa mkuleka nyeri ngirine mitundu tufuma kuba nensu kuba nensu kutipata twaisa kubabemba ero twapange cyakosa nomba ine nalikana because na ishiboko bati umwina Zambia onse mwina Zambia ukwamba opo aperera ero ali kwata fye shuko fye ili akubati ngakwata nga aperwa amaka kuri balesa amakosa yae babalamba kuti ateka ne cyalo takwali po bwafye obuli bonzi nomba ilo twaisa monoko bati ukulande chinga nga kwali wako ama tribes ya kwata yakosoboka mukubomba sana fwe abakutipata na babemba mukabalekese sana nga kwali baba malonda bafula bakutipata mulando wakata afu akulima so nomba nga bamona tafu akulima kufu okuli efi afuri ati eno bebe kwikatana naba chenjera ababemba nomba kwimbira nomba kulayimina abanensu kutira otamwa babwino there are a lot of videos twalia kwete abachimba kambwiri akulando kwati takuri kwekintu kiri chonsocho muingalanda pali echi ichi nga muikata nomba nga mwalanda pa mutundu because uyu mutundu wabefi mwalishi baza sometimes tunaisambirire mitundu ishi efo shaikala nga kwali bakwe ekintu kimo ocho abanensu bapuseneko na ifwe bali kwate chuma nomba tabafwa ifya kutalikana at the end of the day bonse bale batabatonga bali shishita zocho ayimini namofye walanda chala apite fofine at the end of the day kwale banokubalirira fenofuta ubalingiri okubalirira because zero mwala imafe mulande finga nga mwabembi nafe because they don't want to criticize umubemba wafitala no mwina chipata so bala tarika necho eshibefye kuti nabona fya tububwali ubu nabalemba napo tubwali alefu alanda tibwavu because alefu afya wine at the end of the day fyala pusane fya retontonkanya nomba ndelanda pamulanda no kwakanya emitundu abena munia zuru na bambi abalera ndapali ashiria kupatrukanye mitundu no kutira eastern province northern provinces no go area for southerners kuliaye kutumpo kwalekereshako because Zambia chalo cha muntu onse ero mukeme nturubundi ala noto tusaminwamo tapaka beno ukatulumbula muliko bwino mu balikona kubulaya takwabo ukalando kutira yo nebo ndese ngombe nebo ndese motoka nebo ndese shopu nga mwabe nturubundi noto omuntu ayumfuiramo tulapwa so omuntu wa manofye tete itontonganishe paru wako ati pandu newa kwa muniya zuru ninkwate ndalama nga fya chitike fyonse nkabutuka ngefya butuka kaiza zuru tontonganya baru parobe ama brothers bonso bo wafyarwa na bena bushe nkondo fyenga yayima ichalo chaba mino yabashirikare bushe kuti chaba chimo chine kuti abantu baikala mu mutende kulyaye kutontonkanya kwafi werewere emwa kumwene obumpobosa nga kuba leo umfwa ku mitundu shonse ine ndanda njimina pakati kulandoko bati uwakanyafya omutundu nshimupera no muchinshi nangu mukuru nje bafyata awo wewe bodi chiwerewere nangu fe mukuru nalingana na bafyashi ngaimina pakwakanya ni shimono uleipaya now pamulandu nama politics elo moneni ubumpobosa bwa abantu abenge abalanda pamutundu no kulendo kuti abatonga na balozi tababa bwino baupa abatonga na balozi they are married to tonga and lozes bali upano kupa bali nabakashi babo nabana nabafyala ero nga nibala bakati bayira upa kulya abana babo batonga ngowe mume wa upo mutonga abana batonga ngori wa upo mulozi balozi now ule akanyo mutundu but still waya upo mutonga mlamwine ule tati hawa abantu fipuba kabiri waya upira mu bapuba ishwe tukafyala fipuba so ndio po iresa mukubero kwati tutontonkanye ngaba amano ilo ture tontonga pakupaturukanye mitundu ama politics yetu akanya because ama politics abantu balerusha mileage this time so they can do everything to divide this nation for the sake of political gain, political mileage. Now kulolekesha ifintu ofo fiendera season that's when a bible and that kwali benshita ku chintu chonse kuti mwalolekesha ati ino nshita ya ama politics aya mulika chasu ino nshita ya ama politics abantu abali very sober abale tontonkanya that's why ndani nokwati na unabe ne bakolongene fyaba bakolongana bapanga chi political party chile itati ukwa umpobo safe weka because pali intunguru shishinga teka chino chalo elo mwamku isankanya nomba kumuntu obale batika bwalala uwenga nda yako ironse bale itafe persecute kumulandura bupompwe bonse bakafwala bukabwalala bwako alungu ngachakwa tirungu nikabwalala now bambe fyo kupanga ma ground no kwamba okumona political ilete ya na politics ya lete ya kainde ichidema because ama politics te abana my brother my sister ama politics te abana ma politics ya muntu wa isukamano ngachakwa turefu kuchita challenge akainde ichidema ufiro wa mchita challenge na mano no kumona bushefintu nshifitu ntrofo wala achita ngachakwa batu ambo kutontonga wadi webo pita sinkamba kuibange kwati wale pita mwibala liebangelo lya kukola ta upepere tapaka beku kachitika na tokera mkwai
I think before anybody comes in, I'm pretty sure there are other people that Mr. Soda's contribution. You may want to summarize what he said for some people.
Well, yeah. What is simply saying is we don't need a single individual to divide the nation. And this is what's happening. So if you look at Munia Zulu's statements and all these Ukwa guys' statements, Ukwa, I don't even know the name, but they seem to drink from the same chalice. So the story is the same. The script is the same. It's more like it's been written for them to say, when you go online, this is what you should talk about. Look at what Vanawakwi said. Same thing. Look at Bamunia Zulu when he said that, same thing. Look at all these members. They're all singing to the same song. And the song is, let's divide this country. You know, let's divide the North from the South and the East. And that lady from Mfue, the MP, first of all, who gave you the permission or the authority to speak on behalf of the Zambian people, especially the Bemba tribe? Who gave you the authority? You cannot just come online and on TV and start saying us Bembas, tukalaikala fuebeni, na mulaikala mwebeni oko. Who gave you the authority? You're a member of parliament. You should know better. Okay? You're not speaking on behalf of one tribe because nobody has given you the authority. He's got the custodian and is holding the Bemba tribe. Not you as a member of parliament. You don't have the authority. You don't have the rights. And no Zambian will ever agree with you, because it's like I was saying, like, look, nowadays it's very hard to trace who's Bemba, who's Nyanja, who's Tonga. It's very hard because people have married, intermarried. There's intermarriages. Somebody has married a Bemba. That child with a Tonga, what do you call that child? Is he a Tonga? Is the child a Tonga? Is the child a Bemba?
Mixed breed.
You see? So it's all mixed. It's a mixed pot now as we're talking now. We're no longer in the 60s where it was easy to say, oh, but now it's very mixed. Even people now, they may live in Bembaland, but they're not Bemba. They may live in the Copper Belt and speak Bemba, but they're not Bemba. Us that grew up in Lusaka, we speak mainly it's Nyanja and Bemba in Lusaka, specifically. That's the main languages that we speak. It's Nyanja or Bemba, okay? But it doesn't mean you're a Bemba or a Nyanja. Some people are Losses, some people are Kaondes, some people are Luvales. So these are the things. So it's very hard to trace Ninani, and it's very difficult to divide the country. If those are your politics, Ukwa, it's dead on arrival, because no Zambian will allow that.
Interesting. Interesting. Maybe let's bring in the pastor to try to balance things out. Your comment on the discussion on tribes so far, Pastor.
Well,
Hello.
the tribal issue is a cancer, and when you lose any debate on points, you want to bring the aspect of tribal. It is a losing it's a losing battle, because it can appear to work at the beginning, but eventually reality kicks in, and people uh, will eventually see the truth and reject it, because
Right.
it doesn't really work that well in Zambia. People are exposed enough to understand that we are one people. We cannot segregate each other. We cannot go by regionalism. We we have to go on merit and on everything that is fair and possible for everybody. When a church came into power, if he had gone by revenge, it would have been disastrous, because that's what they expected, that's what they wanted, so that they could, hook him up. That you see, but when he came, it was very difficult even for us. Um, Remembering how difficult things were, and how people were treated by the previous regime, and people just wanted, fix them. But his approach was different. He didn't disturb the civil service. He allowed everybody who was there, those who were agents of PF, they remained in there everywhere. And today, I think we are benefiting dividends for what he did, because it didn't shake the country. It didn't divide the country. What he did was a recipe for unity. And even now, he's still advocating unity. But see what they're trying to do? They are focusing on the negative things. The man is fixing the country, fixing the economy. You cannot compare where we are now to where we were in 2021. This
Right.
country had reached a level of being ungovernable. But today, we are back to normalcy. everything is not fully perfect, but we are gradually getting there. So they are not happy. They want to bring tribalism. They want to bring all these things so that they divert attention to these mediocre things. And that's very unfortunate. Thank you.
Right, right. Appreciate those contributions, Pastor. So let's move on to the man that's been quiet since he came in. I'm pretty sure he is dying to contribute to this discussion on tribalism. The deep think you don't need no introduction or reintroduction, do you?
At least I can say good afternoon, everybody. So,
Good.
so tribalism is a huge piece in not only Zambia but Africa as a whole. South Africa just had elections, and because Zuma came back, Natal, KwaZulu Natal, most of the MPs are for MK, Koto Wesizwe. So that was on tribal lines already. So now in Zambia, there's an element of instilling fear in people. They're working on, they're playing around with people's insecurities, not knowing what is going to happen during Hagainde's next term. So they want to get rid of him. There's also an element of probably wanting to steal some money in there. So the question I have for the leaders, the group of leaders that are running UCA, is where do you place one Zambia, one nation if you are talking recklessly like that? And then the elders are quiet about this tribalism. Maybe I just haven't heard elders speak up on it. Where are the chiefs? Where are the religious leaders? Those are civil societies that should bring these political leaders together and caution them about tribalism and the effects of tribalism, having seen what happened in Zimbabwe when Mugabe went after the Ndebeles, in Rwanda. We know what's going on even in the Congo. Things are going on everywhere, and nothing comes out of it. But where are our elders that to counsel the politicians?
Right.
I talked about religion is a problem.
Do we have you or did we lose you?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we lost him, Bachat.
Oh, I think it's dropped out. Yeah. I think he was
Yeah.
hammering a point there. I think maybe Wakalue should come in because he was questioning the religious leaders and the people who are, the elder statesmen. Where do they come in? How can you cancel this thing that we're seeing that's going to be a cancer in Zambia if we continue to ignore it?
Yeah, actually, it shouldn't be ignored because I think the church, this is an opportunity for the church to make a difference. And unfortunately, I'm beginning to see that the church itself is divided in the camps of politics, and they're playing in that in that vicinity without really being objective and looking at the best interest of the nation. And that is unfortunate because when the church does that, it loses relevance. But as it stands, the chiefs, the church, these automatically elements that can help in dealing with tribalism. I like the emphasis that Chitimukulu and Litunga have started working on, and it is a good effort.
Hmm. Right. This brings me up. You know, remember when I was connecting the dots with with all this JJP and abduction. Pastor, I mean, you have now churches that are opening up doors to the former president and giving him the podium where he just goes on spewing all this hate speech. Uh, what do you make of those churches? And then at the end of the day, we see them being given a brown envelope, and we know what that entails. I mean, you don't have to live in Zambia long enough to know what those brown envelopes mean. Just a quick comment on that before I bring back um, Deep Thinker.
I think the um, the problem is the same for our people in Zambia, and the chiefs sometimes get caught up into this. There is hunger in the country, and when the brown envelope is flashed, it seems like it's a bait that a lot of people are willing to sacrifice everything else and grab the envelope. So corruption is rampant in our country. So to fight corruption, we have to go back to all those elements. We have to pay the police well. We have to give chiefs their share of benefits from the country. The country like Zambia, which is rich but does not seem to realize its wealth, needs to work on the fundamentals of how we can bring the resources to the surface so that the stakeholders can be given, so they don't have to be bought, but they can be proud of who they are, proud of what the country can be able to provide. The police can be, paid well, the army, all these institutions, teachers, so that nobody, civil service, so that nobody can be bought. It can happen. It is happening in other countries, here in the West, where somebody can actually stand for the benefit of the country and reject any um, any efforts to buy them.
Okay. Hello.
Right, right.
Allow me to add on
Yes,
something.
yes, so they come in. Yeah, just hold that thought though. Let's before you come in, Deep Thinker was winding up with the contribution. Deep Thinker, before you dropped off.
So I was saying the religious leaders are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and our chiefs are also compromising somehow. I want to believe, I might be wrong. So where we're heading to is uh, trying to split Zambia into sections. We already have a Barros issue. We are the Barros issue, and we saw how those Uka people gravitated towards Western Province, and then now we are hearing a conversation about uh, the we have enough people from Northern Province to overrun the police force. That is dangerous. That's dangerous talk. So before we get to a civil war, we need some structures in the government, whether it's in the constitution, to address that piece. And they should not let Lungu run reckless like that, because Lungu was in power for 7 years he holds a lot of state secrets, which he can use to his advantage.
Right. Mr. Babsonda, you want to come in?
Okay, yeah. Allow me to put a point there. I think the church is not serving us well, in the sense that they are not operating on the neutral ground. I can tell you, because church should tell the people what the government of the day is doing, and the church should also point at some of the failures that the government is failing. Now, due to brown envelopes, the pastors, the bishops, and the reverend, they've become cadres of any political parties that is giving them brown envelope. Recently, twalisa akwatako problem yakatwamfire kwati mulamu church baire kumanina mulya pakuti babasuminisha ma brown envelope. You know, those things that should not be there, because church ifire yabapakati nga government yachitako ekintu kimwe kisuma, they should come forward and explain. Church can explain what the government is doing. That is the duty of the church. And the church taifuire yaimina pakulanda fati government tapare for ichitire, government tapare for ichitire, government has done nothing. Futi church the government na ibombe church ifire yaimina pa neutral ground. Once the government do something of value, bafire bafirondololo kulingane fofiri, then government nga yafirwa bafire balondololo fofire fyabera, because tabafire bayimini na fipakati pambali ati pantu ifo abo turemona nyaba naba likonyaba ifyonse fisuma fyasangu kefibi. This ebo afya, that's a problem with this politics that we have. Ngolesa pota feba ngoli mu UPND takwa becho walala ndoko bati china chirubana right now turera ndoko bati economy tairi bwino necho taiberele bwino eyapaturero ndroko bati ishwe ndalama bayabika ku Uganda bakule efintu na kuma Dubai ishwe tuishibe turemo na balesa kata shifire sha support economy wame. Now mulero ndolola ero bammo bale muna kwati tapari pochi chitike chiri chonsa as if in 2 years 9 months president akainde ichire man UPND has done nothing. But there are a lot of things that they can explain. Issue of education, issue of farming, issue of ZNS, a lot of things, employment. You know, Mzambe there was at one point ya employment freeze. Because government had no capacity. Now, this time, people can explain that. Now, government has done nothing. Epalaisa mukubero wa fipotongati cheichi tairi pa neutral ground. Na ikwata pobo ile chita favor. Umlandu wako kenika brown envelope, because kumata kwa fume brown envelope. Kumonga kwa fuma brown envelope. Fyonse nefibi. Filifia bwino. Because imi chitira mubalungu. Nga kwa lifia cheichi wino fea ikala panchi. Cheichi would have just said, balungu you have done your part. Ikala panshi, help your brother kainde ichilema chita former president. Now, according to what I've seen, au mwandini na ikaba na kusha mfumo even to the chiefs and the house of the chief, few chiefs they've understood if your government irewomba to help the community, but at the end of the day mwasango kobati bale kanyafye bamo they're failing to tell people kuti the government apana ibomba this time. Bale pera nenda lamana bambu bali ambo kulemba bale kwanga wakwata fefu mukula afola na wakwata omwana omunono kula afola. Those are good things to the community, but they cannot explain those things because they are biased. Na ngulo ule chita because ule chita echo chintu is not of their tribe or tabamu teme nwefye na unangu achite chisuma tapadi fya la chitika efidi ababemba balando ko bati uwa kupata takwe bati usuma bobe kabiri uwa kupata taka kutashe. So on this case, limokutwamuna vyati fimo efintu nakalupatomo kabafye pantu tuntu twingi tatwachitike tatwamoneke. But what I can say is church and the house of the chief should stand at the neutral ground. Right. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you for that, Brother Soda. But before we proceed, I know Deep Thinker has a rebuttal to that, or some hair sharing,
Just
you
just
know.
a
But
statement.
before you come in, let me just bring in our new entrants. We'll start with Hosanna Voice TV. Welcome to Bantu. Please let us know where you are joining us from, and share in your input in a little bit. But please introduce yourself for right now.
Oh, sorry, I am not appearing with my name.
Oh yes,
This
it
is
says Hosanna Voice TV. Sorry.
all right. That's our beautiful platform where we spread the good news to reach out to every soul throughout the world. I'm Isaac Mlongo, all the way from the urban Toyland in Germany.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
German in the building.
Okay.
We appreciate you joining in. And how about we bring in somebody we've missed, Mr. Patrick Milasa. Welcome to the podcast. And just tell
Thank
very
you.
quickly our viewers where you're joining us from, though most of us know where.
Oh yeah, no, I'm. Thank you so much. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Oh, great! Are
Okay.
we going to watch Arsenal versus Liverpool in July? No, that's a topic on another day.
There we go now. There we go now.
I
Oh,
knew it. I shouldn't have opened the Pandora box there. But yeah, do you think that you wanted to come in? You had something to
just
add just very quickly before we go to
just
Mr. Chilupi. I think he's been too quiet. I can see his mouth moving.
just a comment here, but I think the last speaker, Sonda, he really touched on the chiefs and the religious leaders. I just want to mention that the way forward is to aggressively decolonize our minds as Zambians. We need to decolonize as Africans, as a matter of fact. We need to decolonize our minds so that we start thinking about Ubuntu. Because right now we've forsaken Ubuntu just for that brown envelope, forgetting that you are denying somebody a chance to feed their family while you are selfish getting money from the government like that. I yield.
All right. Before we go, let's bring in our. I know we have a dedicated viewership here on social media. So let me just read through a few comments before we go to Bachufia, and then we'll allow Mr.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Patrick
Yeah.
Milasa to come in. So we have Paul Chibunu saying he's following us from Kitwe. Thank you, sir. A buyer future Pombos Chavez says you have to connect me next time. All right, we take note of that. Let's see. Let's go on. Let's go on. Here we have Kunda Mukuka Kangwa saying the Catholic Church can be bragged. But when there's a Zambian for you, we love those comments. So yeah, I will be back to the comments. But actually, you want to chip in before we allow Bamila to talk on tribalism as well?
Yeah, just to summarize everything, everybody has brought up a very important point, and we all know that the cause of all this trouble and dilemma that the country is facing right now is one man, and that's the Valuna. Before he came into public to say he wants to come back into politics, everything was going well. But immediately he said that he wants to come back into politics, things started going wrong. He wants to bring that kind of militia kind of a government that we all rejected in 2021. And you can see that he's been using his money to sponsor various cadres from left, right, and center. He's been sponsoring and buying out media houses, and so that they can talk on behalf of the whatever UKWA, whatever it is. Okay, right now we have a fugitive, Chirufya Tayari. That has been, we all know him. He's always been a hard gun. He's always been talking negatively about the current government, and we all know what he's been doing. To survive. Shamelessly. He claims to be a president of a particular party, but one day saying this, the other day saying this. As long as somebody gives him that brown envelope, then he's going to talk for that person. But the people of Zambia, they've refused, and they can see through the lies and see through the UKWA. Wow, but now, people now can read, they can look, and they can understand and say, look, we cannot be duped. Okay? We cannot be duped. We know where we stand. We know what we want for our country. And HH is doing the best he can do, given the circumstances. Why would you start calling for an early election? Why? Okay? He's only been there for like over two years in government. You were there for over 7 years. What happened? You enriched yourself, enriched your family, and all your cadres were rich. We'll see ama videos eyandalama bambeleshani pa bed n'abavike fuma dollars pa bed baleshana n'okushana. The other cadres they're even rolling the ichamba, a weed on $100 bills. You see? Those are the things that the HH said, no. We're not going to allow that. We have to utilize the money to intended purposes. For education, I would go on and on, but let everybody else come in.
Yes, absolutely. Let's bring in Mr. Milaso. We are talking tribalism and the JJ Banda abduction, so-called abduction. I mean, I don't even know why. The guy went missing for a few hours. For what he had. I mean, first of all, we are told 2 wives. Suddenly, there were 3 wives at his bedside. You could have gone to a side chick. That could be also another reason. But now I digress. That's how I do it. Mr. Miller, so you want to come in? Of course, JJ Banda's so-called abduction and the tribalism that confounded us upon his news coming out from the PM. Your thoughts on that?
Thank you, and once again, good afternoon to everybody. Yeah, today I'm not really in the best, but the previous speaker has just hit the nail on the head. This tribalism thing, it's only Mr. Lungu who is trying to bring problems in Zambia, because he doesn't want to see what he's seeing from HH. He wants to bring what can I say? He wants to bring a civil war in Zambia, using his stolen funds and all that kind of thing. I was a little bit happy with the president when he said enough is enough. To be honest, between myself and everybody here on this channel, I wanted actually to start hunting, or actually looking, or recruiting. Let me use the word recruiting aggressive people, so that we could challenge the president, Hakainde Hichilema, to say, no, this is enough. You need to change the system you are using. It's not working. This guy, he cannot be harassing 20 million people, just a one-man show or one family in Zambia. That's not possible. You need to either you work with us or you work with, against us. But when I saw that he said enough is enough. I said, okay, let me give him a week or two and see how it goes. I wanted to recruit people so that we could put pressure on embassies in America, embassies in Australia, embassies in the UK, in Germany, South Africa, as well as State House and our secretariat in Osaka, to put pressure that we need to corner this Lungu, because everybody, even a blind man, knows what Lungu did during his 7 years. His 7 years as a president in Zambia. So I'm watching from a side angle to see how the president is going to react. There's nothing like, no, we need evidence or whatever. Evidence is just there. So we just need to put a little bit of aggression, and the people, they will talk. People, they will turn against Lungu and be state witness, and then we can move forward. Because what's happening in Zambia is not really, it's not good. If we all know what a civil war does to these African countries, it just becomes a problem for everybody, and more especially us who are in the diaspora. I know a lot of us are also investing a lot in Zambia personally, in our personal capacities. So we wouldn't want to see our investment go into waste because of Ulungu. Aikonaman. Thank you.
All right, people. Please give your numbers to Mr. Milas. The man is ready. He's ready. Lady Sarah, before you come in, let's bring in a new entrant. The Isaac. Okay, you corrected it. Mr. Isaac Mlongo, we're talking, of course, JJ Banda's arrest, which resulted in all these tribal talks, and then more arrests after that. Your comment on those two quickly before we go to Lady Sarah. She's been too quiet. Mr. Isaac from Germany. Oh, maybe he's not ready.
Yes, I'm
Lady
here.
Sarah. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
here. Yeah, it's really a pity that we are going through what we are going through as a nation right now, at a time when we really have to be united as a people to solve actually the actual problems that need attention. That is the drought that has caused hunger in the nation, where we have at least 9 million people who are faced with starvation. That should be actually the focus of every one of us, including those of us who are in diaspora. Yeah, so I want us to
I
say
think
that,
somebody's listening in. If you want to
yes,
mute
please.
yourself so we can allow the gentleman to be heard.
Yes, please don't record us. This is recorded, so if you want, you can go on the
That's correct.
social media and you'll find it. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that it is unnecessary. That is what is happening in our country right now. We need to focus on real problems. I was talking to someone, or we had a meeting here in Europe, because this tribalism thing, it has even reached us here. It's here. So we had a meeting among ourselves, and I can tell you, it is, if we don't handle it very well, it's going to divide us more and even more. So it's time to wake up and to know that we only have one country, and that is Zambia. Despite for us being here in diaspora, me, I'm in Europe, I cannot cheat you. People here, the Europeans themselves, they are talking of remigration. It doesn't matter whether you have German citizenship, Europe, UK citizenship, or what. They have the intention to see a black man back to where he's coming from, and that is our countries. So we have to work hard that these things don't escalate to a level whereby one day we find ourselves not having a place called home, which is our country, Zambia. I'm really embittered to hear what is going on right now in our country. I was thinking that our focus would be to solve problems like what we are having, load shedding. What are alternatives that we can use in times like this, that people, they can have light, that people, they are able to preserve their foods, they can eat fresh food and all the other things. But on the other hand, please, all of us, let's join hands and fight this courage. Someone said that there is no tribalism in Zambia. Yes, of course it is not. It's only a few politicians who don't have anything to put in, arguments or whatever solutions to the problems that the nation is facing. They are the ones who are bringing us this dilemma, and they are talking about this, about that, and about that. Yeah, me, I'm friends from school time of all Zambian tribes. Our only time we had people from Northern Province, Western Province, all over the country. That's what we know. That's how we grew up. We don't even know this thing of saying this one comes from where, there, there. No, we just know that we are one people. We are one nation. No any other thing. So I don't know what is the intent of those who are trying to push this agenda, really, because it will not help us at all. It will even divide us even more. So please, every Zambian, wherever, it is time to stand up and let's fight this scourge that someone is trying to push. It's a long thing. We don't need it at this time, at this point in time. Thank you so much for now. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Isaac, all the way from Germany, just to give us those thoughts on, tribalism in Zambia and where we're going. And I know he said, he doesn't look at people from, his location and stuff. But I can proudly say, as I've been reminded that I've forgotten what I always say. Okay. My uncle, who I saw recently from my home village, my mother's village, Lugwalo, is saying, "Hello, people."
Yeah.
And of course, my father's sister, the only surviving sibling of my father, out of Shikatende village in
Shikatenda village.
is saying hello. And I saw her also recently. So so those places, people are real. They're not made up. And so we move on today. I think we've talked too much on tribalism. I think this is a topic that we will continue to to talk about. Let's move on to the next topic, shall we? And that topic is one. Oh, deep thinker. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please, deep thinker. Yes. Ah. Anyway, the Drug Enforcement Commission this week was busy with the Lungu family. We saw them summon the First Lady, I guess a nephew, a Piri, and then the two daughters, Kiesa, as well as Tasila. And apparently, Tasila excused herself. She's now a mother. Congratulations. Welcome to motherhood, Mrs. Mwansa.
Congratulations.
Regardless, she has to be congratulated for that because I'm not going to go there, but we know
We're
what
still
was going
Zambians
on.
at the end of the day. We're still all
Yes,
Zambians at the end of the day.
absolutely. So anyway, we had those arrests, and they are following up on several properties in State Lodge and for some farms and more housing. And of course, we saw that long statement from the sixth president, Lungu, saying his family is being targeted. It's much ado about nothing. Gentlemen, on the heels of the tribal talk, the JJ band, and then death. Let's start with the man who really wanted to talk about this, or the lady who wanted to talk about it. Lady Sarah, this is your favorite topic. Let's start with you. The arrest by death of almost the entire Lungu family this week. Your take. Lady Sarah? All right, we move on. Deep thinker.
My sister, allow me to say something before I leave the broadcast.
Oh, yes, the man at the home ground. Yes, it's late for you. We appreciate you. Go ahead, Ramson.
I think we've talked a lot. In Zambia, there is no this issue. Actually, there's no this issue of tribalism. Now, because of politics, selfish politicians who want to make mileage or to make a milestone using politics and tribal lines, ebalele ngokutira fire moneko kutira muzambia muri ama politics kuche ichitula ya turongana fi bakatolike mu bali abatonga abalenje tama problem na mufintu fimo ife tusangwa mu ma associations now pamulandu fe na ma politics balafa okusendera po mileage pakuti bale ya pantage now ife tafya bombe government should at least do something urgently, making a fast track recovery for the people who are doing tribal politics, because bala una ule chalo mlandu nama politics aya bufufu ntungu. Then concerning the issue of JJ Banda we bare mu bomfyafi engechi wapa kubuta. There is nothing else. Fyonse fireko nkapofu barefo kukava fu barufyenye fu baresundira abantu mukanwa, so okufuma palira position tabeshi boko baleya. Then nga twasa Afrika kuri ashira lyanganda y'abalungu ile nganda ilya mungandanga mwangire fipu munganda takwabo ko batwala samfye fipu ekochafye, because mwasango kutira umuipwa alimwili ashira. A nephew is in the case of money laundering. Bana kateka na bali mwili ashira ndalama yo bale ikongosha village banking abepwa babo. So mwasanga ofati all the entire crew they nabalamba kuminu. At the end of the day it becomes a suspicious bonsa bale chingirira eri ashira barungu. It means nabakwata ko fimofu bale chingirira. Now tafya bombe, because law is law and law should be respected and must be respected. Takuri umuntu ufiri apulamo. So ida ashiraba JJ Banda di Amurika chasu. Ida ashiraba na munia zuru au lekeni balole nkane nefunde. Ero nga balole nkane nefunde. Ero nomba bala ishuko vati. Takwabo umuntu lingiro kupaturo mtundu. We are one Zambia, one nation. No one is special. Takwa wako fiatio wababe mbeba kalateka fiya wako chipate bakalateka awe. Turefuwa na balamba na balozi. Turefuwa na bena mwanga. Ukuisa pamu pakutira chalango kutira for sure this is one Zambia, one nation. The issue of intimidation taingire yabako kwena mkulekeresha nami posha bonse ndetira mwe bose menipo.
Thank you, Mr. Msonda. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. We love the homegrown. We love the homegrown
Thank you. Come back next
there.
week.
Yeah. See you next week.
Thank you very much.
Same place. All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Welcome down.
All right, Jim Pinker, we were talking about the arrest that I'm so excited about.
Yeah, I think it was the second meeting that I joined. We talked about wars there. We talked about wars.
I was waiting on that.
Wars is a trap. So we said that Lungu was going to walk into Goze and it was going to catch him. Now things are happening. And probably that's why he's talking tribal now, to divert people's minds from the trap that he's caught up in. So I don't feel sorry for Lungu. I don't feel sorry for his family, in as far as stolen money, stolen goods are concerned. If he stole, I don't feel sorry for him. If he's just being accused, then the courts of law will decide that. And if he's exonerated, I'll live with it, whether it feels right or not. I'll live with it because the courts have spoken at that point.
Right. Let's move on to how about Mr. Amilaso? The recent arrest by Jacob, or mostly the Lungu family members. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's about time. Honestly, it's about time. I'm just praying that the DC, they don't become weak, whereby maybe, they get bribed from the side to relax the case. But I would like to see these guys go in for a very long time, so that, the next bunch of people, they shouldn't do what Lungu has done. There's no man who can come out, from kuchawama then wakwate ndalama shiri atwebe formira na fiture for ndalama. We are here because of money kuti twabwekera mu Zambia twamukupange ndalama shiri mamon, you know. He has to go in, this man. He really has to go in, you know. He you know, Lungu, sure, instead of being apologetic, he's now becoming very aggressive. He did a lot of bad things, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Zambia, you know, let me be honest, gentlemen. I'm not just I just don't talk like that. I lived in Soweto for 4 years before Mandela came out. Barehanded. So me, fighting is my game. I wish I was in Zambia. That Lungu, I was going to take him on one because he really disturbs my mind. He disturbs my mind, this man, seriously. You know, I mean,
Mrefa one na Lungu.
you know, that man really,
Most soldier, he's a former soldier.
Ndala,
can you take him on?
No chance. Don't underestimate me, eh? Don't.
One.
You know, that man really makes me sick, Mandini. Seriously. You know, the caller from German said it correctly. We're supposed to put our minds together to see how we can tackle the load shedding, the drought. The drought is not anybody, it's not mankind, it's God's will. But we can always find easy ways to ease the situation for the people of Zambia. When I see Zambians, you know, suffering, sometimes I just cry on my own. I said, yeah, but how can we help? That's what we should be looking at. Not, you know, like the way you just said it. Lungu is distracting us so that we forget about improving the country and start doing other stupid things. We really need to finish this year before December. I'm going there I'm going to see him. I'll force that I see Baba President. I'll tell him, because the problem is Tulabapela Sanu Muchishi. HH is a human being like us. He drinks salt. He eats salt. We eat salt. The only difference is the number one citizen in Zambia. He's the president. We need to give him that respect. But if there's problems, you need to tell him, because Naena he will be going in the wrong direction. We need to tell him the truth so that he can react accordingly.
Right. Wow. Well, after that comment on taking on Mr. Lungu from Mr. Milaso, I don't know who wants to come in. Challenge that.
Sarah.
Yeah. So maybe we go to Lady Sarah. You've been I know you've been laughing in the background. You have something to say. All right. We move on to the pastor. Kalue, your comment on the arrest by the deck of almost the entire Lungu family associates for suspecting of benefiting from proceeds of crime. Your comment on that, sir?
The arrest of the previous first family,
yeah,
was long coming. It is one of the things that, again, the president HH didn't want to appear like he was excited to apprehend them. He wanted to give them time and to respect them and to, as a human being. But it was a known fact that they did things. But as you know, in Zambia, it's a country of laws. And when you just rush without evidence, the state can end up paying an offender. So I think by giving him time, allowing what he did, it was like giving Lungu a longer rope to hang himself. And like the previous speaker said, it is a trap that he has put himself in. And now is panicking, is seeing that there's nowhere to go. He wants to talk to the international community to peddle the aspect of human rights. Who can Lungu talk about human rights? remember the gassing, remember the panga, remember
Right.
all those things that were happening. Lungu today is talking about that. They were even questioning him to say, "Are you able to talk about that?" He said, "Well, if the opposition, in opposition was talking about it, that's why we lost. So now we we should not be stopped from talking about it because we are in the right place to advise him that if you do this, you are going to lose also." See, he wants to use that line. But really, what he's doing is like a child's play. It's like kids really playing, but they're not playing very well. They are very disconnected, and they're just making a mess of everything. And so the rope is longer, and it's gonna tie them. It is not a church who is going to to arrest them. It is the law of the country. Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped off. I think my phone, because I'm driving, going for work. So I'm so sorry about that. I heard you call my name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Valerie Sarah is back. Yeah, yeah, you can contribute. You can come in.
Yeah, about the arrest of Mr. Lungu and the whole family. They should just honor up and pay back what they stole from Zambian people. You know, it's not right for them to cry foul play, whatever. No, Balungu. He said it. That me, I came from Chawama as a snake and a dove. You know, he was telling us that and I'm here, I'm back. You know, and if we just look at this snake, no, it will be a problem. It will bite us. You know, so this snake needs to be tamed. This snake needs to be beaten. By being tamed, I don't mean a Jama coffee one on one. I mean the police should be on him and he should pay back if found guilty. Okay. Now those children of his, imwe mwe bantu bakwalesa. Nangu mlakwata manani kane kwe bati moba MP, mlakwata ma gratuity. Kuti mwawina filia. Eh? Now na ifo batu kuna futuweke mo kuzambe tuwe mkuwina. But we formula, like Patrick was saying, they should show us the formula of getting rich. Baesta balesha tomato kuchawamba kuti. Bale naba kwa dolupia ama thousands of dollars. Really? Where did you get it from? And shimila ndusha bena chitotela bena chitalutiruфя balaba ma doctors bani b nishi shata la line. Why? Why is the government not talking about it? What happened to Annie B? And what happened to Faith Musonda? Eh? This is why we say that these politicians, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what they think of. Umuntu ayibafya kabunga bamukaka. Uwibira ama millions alenda muchalo ale butauka ale no wine. Why? Why? Eh? Why? No. Don't
Right.
make
I
sense.
mean, those very, very candid questions there, Lady Sarah. I mean, I remember I think last year, didn't I bring this up? Like, I don't understand how my cousin in in Lugwalo village can steal a chicken and spend 10 years in prison. And I remember then Deep Thinker saying it's a process. Those were his exact words, that it's the process. So I guess we are waiting on the process. I mean, most of these cases are before the economics court, and we came out this year and say these cases that need to be taken care of and be disposed of within 6 months. So what month are we? June.
No,
So
no,
hopefully,
Madam
who is that one saying no?
Madam Moderator.
Yes, deep thinker. You want to go? You want to start with me? Go ahead.
Yes. Remember where we started from. Everybody was
Yes.
distressed, saying, why are these cases not coming up? Why are these not? Now they have started skipping borders. It's a process. The judicial system is a process. And I
Why
think
are we giving? I mean, I don't understand. Why are we giving this time,
But
these people,
but
because
Valentine,
time,
but
even giving
because
them
Valentine,
ideas to
let,
skip borders?
let me make
but sister, let me ask you a question. Number Valentine, why is it that the judicial system is a process only politicians, and when you
I heard
it's
the
a
question. I
simple
don't know. She's
person
going in and
like me
out.
or a bag of. I'm
She's
saying
asking
that
about
why
the
does it
process.
take so
Why is it
long?
taking it?
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Why is it the process? Why can't you
it's,
say it's a process for someone who has just stolen
it's,
maybe a phone or a chicken?
it's, it's a
Why is it not a process, but it's a process for this?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the network is gone. She must be driving.
Why is she
the
say she
question.
driving? Yeah.
I'm going to try to
Yeah,
answer it the best I can.
go ahead.
One, these are lawmakers, and when they make the law, they're very careful how they steal. You can't just jump on those uh, lawmakers and politicians and put them in jail because they know the law and they're going to clean the government up if things are messy. Now, the one who steals chicken from Shikatende is relying on a public defender that the government provides. You lose, you lose. You don't lose, you win, you win. For politicians, they are collecting a lot of money when the state does not handle those cases right.
Oh, right, right.
That's
That
why
it doesn't
Isaac was good.
appease
We
me or
haven't heard anything
soothe
from
me at all.
Isaac. Isaac has been quiet.
Can I? No,
Just to add,
before he comes
a
in,
moderator.
Rachanda, before he comes in, that's why what Valentine has just said, the deep thinker. That's why these politicians, because they know. That's why the
Hmm.
Africa will never develop. It will take
Hmm.
1,000 years from now for Africa to look developed because of this kind of
Hmm.
behavior, kind of policies put in place for politicians, and
Hmm.
which is not very good. That's why
Because
Mwanawasa tried. Mwanawasa put people in jail, even
yes,
if they were politicians.
yes, because he wanted to rush the judicial system.
Mm.
Hmm.
He was a
He,
fool. He
Oh,
wanted.
Valentine.
yeah, he was rushing it.
Valentine.
He was rushing it. For one, why would you depend on a Concord court in England when you have a judicial system that works?
Hmm. Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So he was trying to rush
You're right.
the process.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
yeah. I
Well,
wanted to add that when it comes, I just want to point out why it seems like the law is there to protect the elite and not the average person, the street boy, and so on.
Correct.
It
Because they
is
make
how
the laws.
this is how it is worldwide. The law is set, and even a street boy can appeal, but it requires a lot of money to appeal. So if what is the street boy stole is $2, is it fair for the street boy to look for 10,000 kwacha to pay a lawyer in order to get out of the problem of $2? Two kwacha. So
Correct.
that's the problem that we have everywhere. That's why you see even Trump here is prolonging this thing because there has been money at play, millions of dollars at play, just to try to get away. So when these people do whatever they do, if you don't follow, if you are quick to just do things like a dictator. When the law turns around, you will end up, the state will end up compensating these people thousands and thousands of kwacha, which is supposed to be used for other things, for the
Correct.
hospitals, for medicines, and so on. So you have to be very careful how you deal with them. They are coming in a certain way, in a treacherous way, to trick the country. And we must also use the law to fight them. But they are not. You can't. You can run, but you cannot hide. So the law will catch up with you, and this is what is happening to Lungu and his family.
Correct.
All right, and Mr. Isaac, you want to chip in on that? On the backdrop, on the
Yeah,
backdrop of the
yeah,
Reverend?
of course. Yeah, that's the correct. We have to allow the law to take its course. It's very, very important because if we hijack things and run processes like this, we will end up leading bigger problems because, lawyers, they know how to twist and trick uh, things in court if no proper evidence is brought forward. So what we need to do maybe to speed up such corruption cases, we need to change our laws, because I still remember the president has been complaining, and I think some good 6 months ago, about maybe he had a press conference where he said that now they have made a fast track court, whereby cases, they don't need to take more than 6 months. They must be closed. So that means new cases that are coming in, we have now, it's our duty as citizens to make sure that this thing that has been put in place, it is followed. But maybe for old cases that were already in the hands of the court, it's very difficult for an individual or a government wing or others to come in and tell the judge, we want judgment on this particular day. No, it won't be possible. So we just have to have a bit of patience. I'm very, very sure that the fast track court is now working, and that's why maybe you are seeing things are coming up like this. Coming back to the Lung family, I mean, we have to just be aware and understand that there is no one who is above the law. Even us, if anyone accused you of any case, we have to present ourselves and prove ourselves innocent at one stage. If we not, then we are guilty, and the law has to take its course. So this is where we find ourselves. The accusations there, whether they are true or not, it will be up to the court of law that is going to say, yeah, these people, they've been found guilty. But when you look at the thing holistically surrounding the family, it's a known thing. I mean, a lot of things have happened already in the past where the most front man has been involved. So it becomes obvious that maybe a lot of such dubious things have happened underground, and now they are coming up, and we have just to let the law to take a course. But let me just tell you what they do here in Germany. Here in Germany, such cases are very serious. It doesn't matter what position you have. I remember the president of Germany a few years ago, a very strong man standing, just because he didn't pay something for his house. It saw him completely out of power, out of everything. Today he's a non-entity, as if he was not the most senior person in the government. It doesn't select. They make sure that everyone abides with the law. Another example I can give you, those who follow football, there is a man called Uli Hoeneß. Maybe you know him. He's been managing Bayern for so many years. He came out publicly on his own. No one asked him. He just said, oh, I didn't pay taxes for this period of time. He owns a sausage company. Yeah. Well, they took him to court after that statement, and was guilty, and was in prison for 3 years. So these are no more things. If you offend the law has to be allowed to take its course. It has nothing to do whether you are rich, you are poor, you have a position, you are somebody or whatever you want to call yourself. We are all equal. So if we don't balance things like that, a society is going to be destroyed because there will be favoritism, others will be looked down, and it doesn't work like that in a public domain like a nation like Zambia. Thank you.
Right, Lucia. Your lips were twitching. I could feel them from all the way here.
Yeah. The Lungu family story is a very interesting story, and I think it's a lesson that we all need to read and understand, that as well as learn from. Because the president himself, when he came into power, he said, if my daughter or my son is involved in all these corrupt things, I'll be the first person to arrest them. Okay? So that's why it's very important to leave your family away from government, politics and everything. Let them just live a normal life. Okay, if you look at president's children, they're just living a normal life. Okay, you don't have to involve them into politics. You don't have to involve them into politic business. Okay, you don't have to involve them into your. You want to launder some money. Then you say, no, I want to give it in form of a present to my daughter or to my wife. That's wrong. That is very, very wrong. You cannot be doing those kind of things. So this is where now people now in Zambia, they have woken up. They're saying, look, can you account for all these things? And they're failing to account for them. And then when they call them up to answer for those things, they fail to answer. You can imagine, she comes there, the daughter saying, oh, my dad gave me this. Like, wow. I mean, I wish I had a dad like that. I can give me something like that, But look, what about the ordinary citizen? What about the taxpayer? Okay, we're not in these positions to enrich ourselves and give our daughters houses and mansions. That's not what this is about. Eh? Tarsila, when she became an MP I think it was Tawama or whatever. She ended up going, I think it was in Eastern Province in Petauke, to fence off a high catchment area where Mukula is believed to be growing. And she fenced it off and said, this is mine. Just for the sake of her being the daughter's president. Okay? Now, was that legal? No, it wasn't legal. Was that illegal? Yes, it was illegal. But she ended up doing it anyway because she knew that her father would support her. She can do whatever she wanted. So if people have that sort of type of entitlement to say, I can do whatever I want because my father is the president, he can own 1 million cars, he can do whatever you like. If you look at even, I think this tramples on over what people like Avena Castro was doing. Because when I Castro them, they used to just be a nuisance. They just used to go and drink and do stuff like that and cause trouble. That's it. They were not there to enrich themselves. So if you look at the past presidents from Kaunda, Twaisa Kuliba Chiluba, Twaisa Kuliba Mwanawasa, and all these, look at the behavior and the children, and look at how Ababa PF and the behavior and the children. So we need to stop it now before it becomes a case, before it becomes a cancer. Because if everybody just says, no, they're free to do whatever they want, they can do this, they can, let's pardon them because the father was let's set an example so that the next president that comes in doesn't involve his children, or the children should not involve themselves in these illegal practices. That's all I can say.
Right. Well, very insightful submissions here. Unless people want to add on, I think we should be thinking about winding down. It's been how many? 2 hours already? It's been over 2 hours, people. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's sunny out here. Somebody needs to go and take a walk. Um, so, how about do we have a final topic, Bachelor? Because to me, those were the most important topics that I really wanted us to talk about today.
But no, not really, not necessarily. Unless
Yeah.
there's something that everybody, because I just want to make sure that everybody has contributed and they've all said what they wanted to say. And like I said in the beginning, Avantu TV is about everybody, and let's all unite, bring ideas together, and let's squash what the PF or Ukwa. I don't even understand. I don't even know who's PF, who's Ukwa. I don't know between the two parties. Whoever it is, like that group of politicians that are outdated, with outdated thinking,
Yes.
try to divide this country. We shouldn't allow them. Never should we ever allow them to, try to divide us, because we've always known one thing: it's one Zambia, one nation. Chapa. And that's why Kaunda was one of the greatest leaders that's reviewed across Africa and the world.
Bachelor, so what did you say about Kaunda?
Kaunda is like wherever you go. Like me, when I'm here, I meet somebody, they ask me, where you from? Oh, I'm from Zambia. Oh, Kaunda. That's the first thing they'll tell me.
I would accept to him being known, but to him being the greatest leader, that's
No.
a topic for another day. That's a topic for another day.
There are two things here that we need to look at. The reason is this: he was a Pan-African, and he led the all these countries that surround us. He was the leader that helped to liberate all these countries. That's why all these countries they give
That's
him
another
respect.
topic for another day.
Hold on,
Right,
Bachelor.
hold your
Hold
horses.
on.
Okay,
Hold
go
on.
ahead, Deep Thinker.
Here's the problem. For me, this is just me. I put Kaunda and Lungu in the same bucket for this reason. The national resources were misused without consideration for the Zambian. He spent a lot of money.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, he spent a lot of money trying to fight a war that he wasn't going to win, which I'm appreciative of. I appreciate that. But when the coffers of the country are being depleted, because these problems we're having, they started from Kaunda. If you remember how we used to line up for meal, cooking all everything, and yet he has pushed a lot of money to try and fight the war for other people that are not even appreciating us right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point, but Deep Thinker. Very good point. But the difference is this: I cannot put them in the same basket, because Walungu is fighting for his own pocket.
At the end of the day, it's the government coffers that are missing.
Yes, which is I mean, if I look at it, I'll say, look, I think what he was trying to do, he said, look, if there's a war in Zimbabwe, if South Africa is not free, Namibia, Angola, then Zambia won't be free. We were the earlier country to be free at that point. So even if we help them, and like you said, a lot of resources went into helping them get their independence, and it sponsored a lot, like Namibia and all that stuff, and everybody, South Africa, people were living in Zambia for many, many years, But yes, a lot of money was spent. But are they giving the appreciation? Are they giving the respect that Zambia deserves? And that's
No,
another question you posed, and I agree with you. They've
no, because
never given us that kind of respect and that kind of appreciation to say, look, if it wasn't for Zambia, we would never have been independent.
no, but he didn't have a plan.
Mm,
You have to have a plan of how am I going to get back some money from this, and
mm,
and most of the people, I lived in South Africa too.
mm,
Most of the
mm,
people, South Africans, they mention Kaunda, they don't even mention Zambia.
mm, mm, mm,
Vachilufya,
mm. Yes,
Vachilufya,
landing
let
him
me
down.
let me come in. I agree with you 100% with Kaunda. I'll give you an example. Right now, uh, there's a lot of guys in Zambia who are sponsoring a young girl to go to university ngaapishe skulu aba graduate akwate nchito isoma ti awe ine chilemu faya nalafu ya John. So
Mm,
in that case, Bakaunda, what he did, he looked at us. We are enjoying the peace, we are having everything. But what about our next door neighbors? So he says, let me help them. He helped them, even if they didn't say thank you. It's human nature. But he had a plan to liberate the southern part of Africa. The reason we're struggling, I was one of those people who used to go and queue for sugar and ubunga, is because the Boers, they blocked the borders, wheat or whatever couldn't come all the way from Europe without passing through South Africa, because in Namibia, as well as Mozambique, Zimbabwe, there was war. So the only alternative we had was 90% was Durban. So everything, they were deliberately blocking things there. That's why we had some issues here and there. But Kaunda kept on fighting to liberate Zimbabwe, Angola, Namibia, South Africa, and he did well, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, he used some of the resources from Zambia. We didn't expect to get back that, but we just wanted to have peace in Southern Africa, which we're having. But for them to look at us and say, okay, here's the one where you helped us, I mean, that's a human thing. But Lungu and the Kaunda, that two different entities. They are very
mm.
different. Very,
Yeah, very
you
different.
cannot compare
No,
them.
I cannot compare
You
them.
cannot.
no. My
All
comparison of them,
right,
my
all
comparison of
right.
them is bankrupting the Zambian society. That's the comparison I'm making. At the end of the day, whether you stole or you borrowed and never returned, or you borrowed and died, at the end of the day, you have bankrupted the country. That's the comparison I'm making.
Right, let's close this show, shall
Can I
we?
say something? Yes.
Who
I
wants
wanted
to say something?
to say something. Yes, yeah, yeah. Because it's a very interesting debate. Yeah, Lily, please, let's leave our forefather, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. He did his best. You are all what you are today, most of you, because of his free education. That's just one plus. But coming to why he has to engage himself in the liberation struggle for African countries, which actually goes beyond Africa. The reason is very simple, and I want to remind you that that war is not even won up to now. It has not been won. I'm saying this because Zambia, as it is a linked country. We are surrounded by, if we are to take the eastern region, we are surrounded up to about 13 countries, in terms of economic or trade. So you are speaking of about 900 million people who are looking for services and goods in this region. And Zambia actually is said to have been is supposed to be a bread basket, which is supposed to feed all these countries around us, which actually positions us ourselves economically. If you are to be very clever and come up with innovative ideas and really do proper agriculture, then we can really be able to feed 900 million people, a huge market that we have. So the war, please, is not over. if our neighbors are not going to have food on the table, they will definitely run to us and strangle and try to get the little that is there, and it won't be enough. As a result, there will be some problems, even more problems, criminality and all this. So the idea of KK doing whatever is good is still alive. We need now to win the economical battle that is there. Right now, we have drought, I repeat again, in Zambia, but look, in East Africa, they had floods. The same thing, we are affected. So that means there is hunger issue. We should not overlook it. It's a war on its own. Zambia has to wake up and engage in proper agriculture. We have vast land, we have water, underground water, we have Bangweru and other lakes which we are not utilizing to the maximum to generate power, to do agriculture and many other activities, fish farming and a lot. So, sir, I will dispute with you there, really, please. Let's leave the old man. He did whatever, even the peace we are enjoying right up on the African continent as a whole, it is because of these great, great men who really offered their lives to make sure that today we can walk freely and we can smile and be what we are. Yeah, thank you.
That is
Are we
true.
really
That
free?
is
Now,
true.
that's a question for another day.
That is true.
Gentlemen,
But the issue is that you do not engage a country into a war like that with because South Africa at the time was probably a developed country. You do not engage by yourself. You build a community of people. There was no reason why you move the headquarters for ANC from Tanzania and bring it to Zambia, right next door to Zimbabwe, which is not independent yet. No, you build a community. If you want to help, you go to Mali, you go to Nigeria and say, these South Africans, I need them to stay there so that South Africa doesn't have a reason to come and attack me.
But South Africa only attacked us once, I think. And then the other thing is there's a reason why the headquarters was moved.
No, sir, not once. Several times.
Yeah, but there were no significant.
all right. I knew that. Yeah, you brought in the name of Kaunda. Let's finish the discussion.
If you go to Palestine and you throw a rock into Israel, it doesn't even hit somebody. You've broken the sovereignty of that country.
But deep thinker, I think I know where you're coming from. But look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. If it wasn't for Kaunda, Mandela would never have been out of prison. Because Kaunda personally went and met with Chirashina and I forget his name.
Yes, Botha, and
he met him and told him, you need to free this man. Okay? If you don't free him, there's going to be a problem in what's this?
In South Africa.
In this region, Southern Africa, South Africa itself. Please free him. There were discussions, there were conditions put out. Probably the government itself, as Zambia, they had to part away with some sort of monetary thing. But at the end of the day, Mandela was released because of Kaunda. Now you can imagine how Mandela is looked upon in the whole world. Everybody knows the name Mandela.
It should be Kaunda who should be known, not Mandela.
Boy.
It should be Kaunda whose name is out there more than Mandela.
Yes, but look at it. That's how it is. But that's just the way the world works.
But
You can
no,
build
no,
you
no,
can
no, no,
build
no, no.
somebody to be somebody.
No, hold on. The
You know.
point here is Mandela became president, and Kaunda was not president by then. He was an inactive person. He was just somewhere in Zambia. Mandela was traveling, trying to organize himself. He was a well-known person by then. But before, when Mandela was inside, Kaunda was known. KK was known all over the world.
But
All over the world. But the most fundamental here is he helped the region to be free.
here is my issue. You are saying he. We should be saying they. We had the Organization of African Union, we had the SADC, we have ECOWAS, we had all these. We should not be saying he because it crippled his economy.
Our economy, yes, it was crippled. It was still going to be crippled, even when those guys they were not free because we couldn't. You remember, Zambia is a landlocked country. How are we going to move the goods? It was expensive.
Tazara.
So if Mandela, imagine this: if Mandela was never released, it means South Africa was never going to be free. It would have been run by.
That is not true.
It would have been run right now by the white communities.
Yeah, the Oppenheimers.
That is not true. That is not. You cannot place the independence of a country on one person like he's the only leader who could have led the country.
At that point, yes. At that point, Mdala, I'm sorry to tell you this, but at that point, Mandela was the most popular person. That's why they had to jail him. That's why they had to put him in prison because it was a problem. They knew that this guy, if we let him free, he'll be a leader. But they had to put him away for 27 years.
But the concept behind putting Mandela in jail for that long is to break him, and he came out a broken man. He was not the same Mandela who went to jail. He compromised a lot. A lot of South Africans, black South Africans, still don't have running water. After ANC promised running water and electricity to everybody via Mandela, they made the Mandela that they wanted.
And on that note, let's bring this discussion to a close.
Who's the president of South Africa now? The elections. Was it Ramaphosa?
Yeah, it's Ramaphosa.
Are we having a discussion? If we're having a discussion on something, we might just as well have a discussion.
No, listen. No, hold on one second. Hold on. Can I say something apart from Makaunda?
No. Before, no. I've let you guys
go. Can I say something before Makaunda's issue? I have something important.
Go ahead.
I think it's Bakaluwe was saying it. I was half asleep enough. He was talking about improving Zambia in terms of agriculture and other things. I think these are the topics we should come up so that we can find a way. How are we going to improve Zambia?
Because that will be a topic. We'll probably have it next week. We can have it next week.
I prefer those. God is great. Lungu, let's leave him like that. God is great. Let's try. We in the diaspora. We are right now. I'm calling from my apartment in Pennsylvania, but I'm living a far better life than the people in Zambia. I would like them to live the same I'm living here. So let's try and channel our energy, see how we can help Zambia through agriculture. Definitely. That's the most fundamental, which can really improve our lives in Zambia. Thank you, Ziko Mwambiri.
No problem. We will have that discussion, obviously, Vakalinda. Next week, we can discuss about economic policies in terms of agriculture, mining, and everything else. We can come up with a whole topic.
Absolutely. Well, we also remember that we discussed the breaking headline news. So, absolutely, that's definitely something we can do. The drought. Having just a week old from Zambia, so I experienced the drought and load shedding. I felt like I was in an alternative citizen over there, but it is what it is. So, yeah, so those topics will come up as we move forward, no doubt. So, having said that, shall we then give each of you a minute? We'll start with our pastor, and then we go to our Mr. Isaac in Germany, and then Vamila So, and then the deep thinker, and then Rajrufia. In that order, shall we conclude? I was hoping for a rant, but I think we've gone overboard. Let's start in that order. Pastor Kalua, please, your final
Yeah.
words for today.
Yes, Sister Kalinda. Thank you so much. This was a high-heated conversation. I think there's a lot more that we can talk about. But I think for the sake of education, one of these days we can bring this issue of Kaunda back. And but but for now, let's deal with we we can't run away from it and avoid it. I think
Oh!
there are some good things that we can you know talk about learning from that. You know, there's something that we can learn from Kaunda as well, and we can learn how he messed up, what we could have done better going forward. It's the same in America. When you look at America, the Civil War, the mistakes that have happened here, but these people are not shy to bring those things and talk about them and learn from them and implement new policies and laws that are based on what actually transpired. So I think it is very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pastor. Hopefully, we see you next week. Mr. Isaac in Germany, please, your final thoughts for tonight's discussion.
Wow. Thank you so much. Very, very interesting topics. Though I joined late, I didn't start from the beginning. I just want to leave you with the word of God because it's very, very important. Maybe because of the happenings in the world, we normally forget. John chapter 10, verse 10, where the Bible says that the enemy, who is the devil, comes to steal, to destroy, and to distract. So that is what is happening with our country right now. People are now forced to focus on an individual or petty issues of tribalism and all these things, yet they are going through difficult times. That is just a diversion of the enemy for them not to look at the real thing so that they continue suffering. Zambia is a beautiful country. David Livingstone prophesied when he came there. He said that this country is a bread basket for Africa and the whole world. So let's really, really focus on things that can turn around the economy. The government has set up platforms like the public-private platform where we can come in as diaspora and help them to solve problems. We have new ministries like the Ministry of Small, Medium Enterprise Ministry, and many other good adventures. One of the things, because I'm a farmer, I'm a son of a farmer, I have a teacher which I like, is farming. Because I still remember in our early days, we are not bothering that where are we going to buy meal? No. In one or another, with those times boreholes were working, we had windmills and the like. There was nothing like in the village, people they suffer the consequences of drought. At least there was a solution always. What has happened to small gardens where people themselves they can grow food and have something on the table without really waiting for someone to supply a commodity to go to ShopRite or whatever. Those are things you need in times of need like this. Short-term solutions, just like what Joseph did during the drought that happened in Egypt thousands of years. These things are biblical and they occur time and again. No? So let's not be deceived by one individual who is trying to make populace of himself, of his failed agenda, ideas, and the like. That is time wasting, and that is what the devil does. I would rather see Zambians getting engaged in discussions that will bring about innovations, that will bring about change, transformation, things that are not there in the country that can change society forever and for good. And there is a lot that diaspora can engage in. You don't need to have the money. You can have an idea, because if people buy into it, it can turn into money. So,
Yes.
Ziko Mwambiri Ndarumbawasa, and yeah, let's continue. So wonderful to interact with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Anyway, next up was Mr. Nasu. Go ahead. Get you cracking. Get you cracking here.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. I concur with our brother who is based in Germany. I think I'll go a little bit different from what you want me to comment. I'll ask Pastor Kalue and Chirufia to think deep, and the other colleagues in the diaspora in US and Canada, to maybe probably amalgamate or recruit people from the other diasporas, and we form one strong group and try and start coming up with ideas of improving Zambia's economy, like our colleague is saying from Germany. That's where my heart is. You know, to be honest, Lungu, like I said earlier on, you know, God is greater than very mudimu palavaloi. God is greater than all witches. You know, so we just forget about Lungu. Let's concentrate in helping Zambia to be where it's supposed to be, economically wise and social development. So, Pastor and Chirufia, I know you are in the top. Shanuko, please try and do something. You know, I'll be very happy to see that the diasporas, we've done something, because we talk too much and we don't do much. You know, I would like us to really do something to say, oh, this is what we've done. And agriculture is the easiest way to go. Land is available. It's available in Zambia. Thank you.
You find it, oh God, the Chinese are buying it up like nobody's business. All right. But and maybe before we go, how about we bring this person on? I think they're
there's somebody wants to come on?
Yeah, last minute entrant. Viola Hamwanza, welcome to the podcast. And please tell where you're coming, where you're joining us from. And we are discussing our topics today, where the tribalism that we witnessed following JJ Banda's what I call abduction hoax, and of course the arrest by death of the former first family. You can just any one of the three will be fine, whichever you want to talk about. Please come in just for a few minutes.
You must be
She
muted.
said,
Maybe you're muted. Unmute yourself.
It says she's mute. You can unmute yourself, I think, or maybe. Let me see if I can try to do it. You have to do it, madam. All right.
She said she's from Dallas.
Yeah, she told us where she's from, but looks like she can't do it. Anyway, right, if you're coming, she says she's just listening in for now. Just come in. Let's wind up the show.
Yeah, sure. So two things I want to mention. I want to mention two numbers. a 6 and a 7. I've hung around with a lot of Asian people, and Asian people are very particular when it comes to numbers. And one Asian friend was telling me, if a house doesn't have these certain numbers, then I won't buy it. So 6 is well related to something not good when if you go into religious circles, even in the Bible. And if we look deeply, the 6th president of Zambia is the person that has more, carnage and killings and bloodshed than any other president that ever lived or ever, held that office. 7 is a lucky number. The 7th president is lucky in the sense that Zambians now are awake and are able to see and analyze. No matter how difficult things are, we all know that the price of meal is high, electricity, there's load shedding, but we're able to see in the background how they're doing it and trying to mitigate these issues. We've got a lot of projects coming up when it comes to energy. Solar plants are coming up. So many right now. If I can tell you, in the next coming 5 years, we'll have an energy sector that's really huge, and we won't be talking about this. For now, yes, people can complain because yes, it's truly happening. But do we all round all these issues on one man that has just been in office for 2 years? These issues have been happening since the Kaunda days. Because when the Kariba Dam was done in the 60s, they were looking at a small population of Zambia. But that's why all the certain things, like I was saying, like, look, yes, Kaunda, he did a good thing, but there's certain things he didn't do. In the 27 years, he did not visualize to see what will be the next step in the next 50 years for the Zambian people. So through that time, he should have set up another Kariba Dam somewhere in the northern sector where there's enough rain. Because right now, hydro, okay, we only rely, when it comes to energy, we only rely on hydro, probably 90%. Alternative energy sources are less than that. So we only rely on hydro 90% or maybe even 100%. In this country here, in Europe, anywhere else, it's a mix of alternative sources. Here in Canada, I can tell you it's about 56-60% hydro. The rest, it comes from alternative sources. You can name them. That's where it comes from. That's where Zambia needs to move in and say, look, we cannot only rely on hydro because we cannot rely on the rain. And if we have to think about hydro, why don't we move or invest? Even ZESCO itself, when the other gentleman was here, I was asking him, like, look, ZESCO as a company, have you thought of building your profile in terms of alternative sources? Like, is hydro the only thing that ZESCO will be known for going in the 21st century? Going forward, I think they need to start thinking of, investing themselves, their money into, alternative energy sources like solar and all these other things. And if hydro is what you're really known for, why not shift into the northern sector where there's rain all the year round? So those are the things I was thinking, and yeah, so those 6 and 7, those are two different numbers, but it's a topic for another day, guys. We've had a long day. We can continue next week. We can obviously talk about these issues in deep when it comes to investments, agriculture, and everything. Me, I'm ready at any point. And thank you for that, Bamloj, what you said. We already have a group that has over 40 people where we can discuss these issues if you want. I can send you a link. We can build and start discussing on real issues. Here it's politics, of course, but we can combine it with everything else. Thank you.
Right! Oh my goodness! Thank you, Jesus! It's time to head on out. But before we do that, let me just read a couple comments. I did promise I was going to do that for
You
our
did,
viewers
you
online.
didn't hear from
So
me.
it is. Oh, oh, Gypsy.
Yes,
Go ahead.
really? That's how you feel?
I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Gypsy.
That's okay. You can go ahead. I'll talk next week.
Come on, Gypsy. I thought I had put up that lineup. I'm so sorry. Gypsy, please. My
I'll,
apologies.
I'll
Your
be very
final
brief.
thought.
I'll be very
Yeah.
brief. I think Kaunda put a value in our society using the Ten Commandments as the instrument or the tool. He always reminded us, love your neighbor, thou shalt not. He reminded us those things. Nowadays, I think we need to change the politics because the elders, the grown up people, even former presidents, they want to act like kids. And then I don't like it when now kids start talking about circumcising the former president. You put yourself in a position where now you are arguing with the children. We need to bring back the African values of respect, but the elders must respect themselves first. We cannot talk about development if the young people don't have the value for our Zambian constitution, the elders, the chiefs, the kings. If we do not respect our own cultural values, we are buying into the Western culture where even a young kid calls an elderly person by first name and there is no respect. We need to start from respect. Once we respect each other, then we will see value in each one of us, and then we'll be able to support the president based on the things that they're doing right, and have a conversation with the president to say, hey, it's not your fault, it didn't rain. How can we sit down together so that we can uh, solve this hunger problem? But we run to the media because we want to score points. That means we don't have value for our own cultural backgrounds. I yield.
Thank you, Gypsy. And now, a few comments from our online viewers. We start with Jairus Fumka. It is very embarrassing for the opposition to talk about a failed movie called Abduction, which abductor would abduct someone and I don't know what he meant here. Be reminded that we were taught that this man originated from Rwanda and his real name is, okay, we're not going to go there. And then Sydney Mandu, he says, watching from Choma. Thank you, sir. Anyway, on that note, this is Kalinda. I would say, people, if you're traveling to Zambia, load shedding is real. Make sure you have your power packs and do what you have to do. It is real. Until next week, keep the faith. We are out.